Ready, set, go. My name's Katherine Wahl. I'm an internal usability consultant at the IT department at MIT. We've consistently used the user interview because it gets us information from real users in a very cost-effective way. And it's been a very effective method for us. I really see the user interview as a very versatile method. You have a lot of versatility in terms of location, format, and methodology. In terms of location, you can do one-on-one interviews in the participant's office. You can do them remotely over the phone, or you can use a video link. And it's great to have that sort of versatility. In terms of format, your interview can be structured or unstructured, meaning you can have specific questions you want to ask, or you can cover general themes. Your questions can also be workflow-oriented or task-oriented. In terms of how long the interviews should be, ideally a session should be about an hour, but if you have participants that can only give you 30 minutes, you can work with that. You just need to know that in advance and plan for it. It's really important to be clear about that ahead of time. Also, in terms of timing, we think of the user interview as something we do at the beginning of the process, but really you can use it anytime during your project lifecycle to get valuable information. We've used them after surveys and even after launch of a project. Preparation is where you need to invest your resource of time to get the most out of the interview session. If you only have a 30-minute session, you need to really make every minute count. And that starts with goal setting. In terms of preparing, you need to think carefully about what you want to get out of the session and don't try to do too much. You need to discuss those goals with your client, and you really want to make clear what the user interview is not. It is not requirements gathering, and it is not letting users be designers. You also want to be clear about your participants. You want to make sure you're talking to real users. You want to make sure that you have some debrief time in between sessions, and you want to confirm all of your appointments with the participants. You also want to think carefully about the questions that you ask, and this is really important. You want to revise the questions over and over and over again to make sure that they're right, that you're not asking leading questions, and that you've really eliminated bias. You also want to think about your timing. Tools are very important. You want to make sure that you can record quotes. You can do that through audio recording, video recording, or just taking notes by hand. If you're going to audio or video record, you need to let participants know ahead of time. In terms of the interview, you need to work at setting expectations for your participants. You want to make sure they know if you're audio or video recording, and preferably get them to sign a release. This is your opportunity to also establish your credibility and rapport with participants. At the interview itself, you really want to make sure that you listen carefully to the participant. Silence is okay. You also want to observe their body language and the surroundings, particularly if you're in their office. You also want to clarify what you're hearing the user say. You can repeat back what they've said and ask follow-up questions, and you really want to make sure you record those quotes. You also really need to be prepared for surprises. User interviews are filled with surprises, from the participant not being what you expected to finding out that the UI is not your problem and you have another issue that you need to talk about. This is where you really need to be ready to adapt and adjust. In terms of reporting, it's important to summarize the major themes and include quotes. I usually don't have observers when I do interviews, so the quotes are really a powerful tool. And I like to deliver the results in person so I can have a discussion with the clients about what I've learned. In terms of advantages, I think the sessions can be set up and run very quickly. It's open to an iterative process, so you can do multiple rounds. And for me, it's great not to be dependent on developers to develop a working system to test. I also think it's great to get real data from real users. People are really important to what we do, and user interviews are a great opportunity to develop a deep understanding of our users. In terms of challenges, there are a number that you need to be aware of, particularly defining your goals carefully, getting your questions right, and really making sure that there's no bias in them, listening carefully, and analyzing and synthesizing the data thoughtfully. If I can just get you to remember 3 things from the last 5 minutes, it's to prepare for your user interviews thoroughly, listen carefully to your users, and record your quotes accurately, because they're going to be a really powerful tool in your reporting. And I think I'm done. Thank you.